Well, good afternoon, boot campers. It is my pleasure to be with you today, virtually, but still here. Just tell you congratulations on completing your bootcamp experience. And as head of sales, I see this as a very critical time to address you and to reinforce some of the things that you have learned this week and the last few weeks since you have come into Guardian Life. You know, our bootcamp experience tries to fit into a short space of time some critical elements of what it is we do in the life insurance industry. But this is not any ordinary industry. You know that through the selection process, you would have gone through weeks of trying to figure out if this is the career for you. And you all made it. You all didn't only make it through that process, you made it through the bootcamp. So the question is, what really makes this selection process so different, and why is training and development such a structured and well-ordered part of our existence here at Guardian Life? You know, this is not just any job. This, quite frankly, isn't just a job. This is where you have the opportunity to make a lifelong career, as I did, because it calls on us to really want to help people. That is the core of what we do. And yes, I know we could make lots of money for it. That is what it is your managers may have enticed you with in considering the career. But it's not just about making money, because that will come, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. That will come. But the reality is service to others because of the type of business that we are in. Our profession is literally a life or death type of situation. You had to overcome many mental concerns, mental challenges in considering whether this is the career that you want to be in. And for some of you, you know, you may have had doubts along the way. Is this what I want to do? You know, is this really making sense? Working on straight commissions, even if it is, you do get some financial support in financing in the first couple of months. Is this something that I could deal with? The rejection, the chances of getting no's, these are all part of the job and very useful considerations that you must contemplate in joining this career. And this business is very unforgiving. And as with any business that requires us to call on our creative side, our entrepreneurial side, it then asks us to do certain things that follows a particular pattern, that follows a structure, and having a very well-defined process that would allow us the best chance at being successful. Now, we are exposed to the franchising model here in Trinidad over the last decade. We have had quite a few franchises. You know, one that comes to mind is Starbucks. Another one that was here a lot longer was KFC. And you know, what is one of the things about franchising that makes it successful is a very well-defined process to produce its products, to distribute it, and to service and to create an experience out of that service and product when it all comes together to be a satisfaction for the clients who participate or who consume those products. In our case, it is much different. This is not a product that you could really consume. As a matter of fact, you don't want to use the product because it means something bad has to happen. You're going to have to die. You're going to have to get critically ill. And why it is I'm even mentioning that? Because each of you, in going out there to create a career, you have to be able to understand that this is a service that we sell beyond just a product. And yes, the policy is the representation of that product for the client to have evidence that there is something that they could rely on. But everything that surrounds it is what it is we sell. We sell ourselves. We sell our ideas. We sell our opportunities to get into someone's mind to help them to understand that the decisions that they make is one that their family could rely on when they're not there, or that they may have to rely on where they are less sufficient in doing the things that they ordinarily would anticipate doing. So Franchises give us that process-driven type reality that brings some form, some fashion, some particular way, and a way that is successful to do this business and to be able to be good at it. Some of you all may have been introduced to the term paid cars, and this is as probably as old as the insurance industry. 17 years ago, when I was in your position as a new agent, this is what I learned, and it brings us, I want to focus in on two of those letters in that acronym paid cars. The P for prospecting and the A for approach. I want one of the messages that I want to share with you today is that you would not make it in this business. There's no negotiating here, but you would not make it in this business if you haven't fully accepted and appreciated the importance of sitting at your desk and making calls like you have never made calls before. There's no day that you should make less than 10 calls. Any day that you make less than 10 calls, you are gambling with this career. And that means that in a typical work week, you should have no less than 50 prospecting calls made. And I don't mean how many times you dial, I mean how many times you get through to a living, breathing person on the other side. And folks, I've seen time and time again that people with potential, people who have the opportunity to do really well in this career, they start to become complacent with making their calls far too soon. And that in itself is one of the reasons why they decline into a place of non-productivity. And then it makes the job a lot more challenging and robs that person of a career. I'm saying that you have been through the process. We have accepted that you have the basics to make it in this career. But we, as head office, as your managers, as your leaders, we cannot force you to sit and make calls. That is a decision that you have to make. If we don't prospect, and that is just one area of prospecting, name gathering and making calls, is part of the approach as well. How do you engage that person? And it may seem fundamental, but these fundamentals are critical to success in the early days. Operating in the space where you follow the process, where you do what the franchisor, Guardian Life, is telling you, the franchisee, to do to be successful, is the same reason why other big multinational brands like Starbucks and KFC and McDonald's maintain success over time, because there's a standard, there's an experience that is relatively the same regardless which location that you go to. The ideal is that each Guardian Life agent will represent a standard that is unique to Guardian Life. And that means being able to prospect, be in front of more people, provide a service that is different to everybody else, all other players in the insurance industry, and really put you in the driver's seat to earn that unlimited income that is a very real part of the opportunity that you have here as an agent of Guardian Life. I want to bring to the table the fact that you may be talented. You may be able to have the gift of gab, as they say. You could string words together and you could emotionalize it. And that is all well and good. But in this career, even talent is overrated. Those natural talents that are not practiced will not be of any real value to you. And those talents that you don't have, if not practiced, you would not become good at. So there's a saying that it takes 10,000 hours. 10,000 hours of work and presence on a job to become really good at it. And if it is, we look at the fact that we don't work at the same level every single week, every single month of the year. If we look at 48 weeks, working weeks for the year, it means that it will take you 3.5 years using that 10,000 hours of work time. So I worked out the math for you, so you don't have to do it. But that 10,000 hours of work time is going to take you 3.5 years to become an expert at what it is you do. If this is scientifically proven, and you come into a career and you choose not to learn, you choose not to enhance your abilities, your understanding, you would necessarily take a lot longer to become an expert at it. This is why we have an entire department called the Sales, Learning and Development Department. This is dedicated to your ongoing efficiencies in understanding the business and understanding your role in it, and to become more skilled and sharper. But it's just one of the things that we do to support you. Most of the work that you will have to do will be on your own and will be alongside your experienced managers and leaders. So don't underestimate what is required of you if it is you want this career to be something that will be rewarding, both for yourself, your family, and the clients who you will have the opportunity to encounter. So as we go along this process called paid cars, on the back end of it is the A, the R, and the S. So the A stands for admin, the R stands for referrals, and the S stands for service. And all of these things are so interrelated that we cannot fully appreciate what value it is unless we live it, unless we are able to take a really sincere view at what it means to be of service. And in our country, if we be real, if we be very frank, it is not very hard to discern good service because the quality of service is at best average. And if you are in a position where you could add your value, you could add your flavor, you would be able to truly set yourself apart in terms of service and do the things for the clients even when it's difficult to get things done at times. But you show up for them. What happens is that they become a natural spokesperson for you, a natural advocate for you. They will tell people about how magnificent your service is, that I never had an insurance agent like this before, who cares about me, who calls, who says happy birthday, who sends me a card. We have to be able to raise the standard of service for ourselves in order to make sure that we become that our clients become advocates for us. And that in itself will be able to return for us continuous referrals, sometimes unprompted, or if asked, a client will then be able to more willingly provide you with your future clients or referrals for your future clients by simply showing up, smiling, being of service in ways that other insurance agents in the country or in our own company fails to do. So, being of service involves a very, very important element. And I will warn you that this career is a very competitive one. It is one where, as we say, dog eat dog. That's not the culture that we want to emulate and to inculcate in our company. But the reality is that it is competitive. In the process of being competitive, I challenge you to not do something that will be wrong. Let's be real here. We are dealing with people's incomes. We are dealing with their money. We are dealing with sometimes very intimate parts of their life that they share with us because it is needed for us to give them the best advice. If, however, we betray that trust, it is sometimes very hard to ever win it again. And the opposite of what I just described of being referable happens. Your reputation is at stake. So what am I getting at? Our company has a very, very hard position on ensuring that our advisors, our agents, operate with the highest level of integrity. And as head of sales, one of my responsibilities is to ensure agent behavior. And I want to put it as early as this, as you are in the career, that if you would operate in a way that will bring our company into disrepute, that will have clients be doubtful of the quality of service and the professionalism that Guardian Life stands for, that you operate in any way that is considered unethical or illegal, there will be no place for you in this company very, very quickly. So I'm challenging you, and it could be considered a warning that if you do things the wrong way, it's not going to have a space for you at this table. But if you do it the right way, if it is you serve, as I said, with the right ideals, if it is you are able to give the best advice, and even in giving the best advice, don't win the sale, you would have done your job well. You could walk away proud, knowing that it is the client who didn't decide. Any devices of trickery or presenting anything that is not a real representation of what our company stands for will be met with similar responses. So from that warning is an encouragement. Earl Nightingale said that we are paid directly in relation to the service that we give to mankind, no more and no less. And if that service is the purest form, if that service is one that really reflects what the ideas of the company are, which is integrity, serving people, and really having the best environment for us to give advice, then we would have done our job well, and we will be paid well. There's no reason for us to include any devices, any forms that will be construed as misrepresenting our brand, misrepresenting our products, and tricking clients into doing things that they're not supposed to do. So we have a zero tolerance on this, anything along the lines of misrepresentation and fraud, and I want to make sure that that message is heard very loudly. One last thing before I wrap, and that is the importance of goal setting. There's a boat in the water, and that boat has a sail. And if that sail doesn't have a particular alignment, then the direction that the boat will go is anywhere. When we think of goal setting, it is that yardstick to measure how close we are to that destination. It is something that we could check back to adjust and see how we could get back on course. What improvements do you want to have in your life? Why are you here? Why is this just a job to get a salary? If it is, we have the wrong concept. If this is an opportunity by effort to be rewarded, to have the type of income that would allow you to live the lifestyle that you would like to have, now we're onto something good. And any one of your managers will be able to help you work out what is the productivity required to get you to that lifestyle goal, that destination that will be unique for you, as it is for you, as it is for another. That is what goal setting does. If you start your year, you start your month, you start your week, or even you start your day without a goal, in its most simple form, it is one of the things that would take you away from a pleasant outcome, or the desired outcome of constantly progressing in the field, earning more income, touching more lives, serving more people. But some of us will actually do it really well, right? Some of us will follow the rules, follow the process, and in the end, probably earn 2 and 3 and 4 times what we earned in our previous employ. If this is our first employ, it may be staggering the type of income that you could earn. I'm making a call to you. I'm offering a bit of advice to you. When you earn money, do not spend it all the next month. You have to practice what you preach in terms of financial prudence to your clients. If it is you want to advance your life, you have to build assets. And for most of us, those assets are simply at first the accumulated income that we use, so that we have left over from what we use. So in other words, you're challenged to budget. You're challenged to use what you need and not consume the balance entirely on what you want. If you practice this measure of financial prudence, it would allow you to accumulate an asset called cash. And that cash could be invested into other assets, things that are more permanent, like a home, like real estate, even if you don't live in it. It would allow you to make investments in other companies. In other words, it would allow you to have a constantly improving quality of life when you take care of the basic needs. It is nice to drive a European car, but it's not that you shouldn't, it's in what order you should. So financial prudence and the ability to become financially independent is one of the greatest advantages this career has. But too many times, persons get consumed in the idea of earning a lot of money, and they spend in a lot of consumer items that doesn't add up to future value. Be smart, enjoy, take time out and put aside a budgeted amount to enjoy the fruits of your labor, but define that in a very real way and ask yourself the question, how does this improve my future self? How does this align to my short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals? And if you practice that, the reward of the career, the opportunity to be rewarded for all the hard work and getting all the rejection and all the reschedules will be worth it. It comes together to create a more fulfilled outcome to the experience that you have as you evolve from a recruit, a rookie, into a mildly experienced agent within your 3 to 5 years, and then a more experienced agent. Being able to do that and to continuously learn, so I'm bringing it back from where I started, to continuously learn is a personal decision. We have opportunities and we create spaces for you to get that internally, but a lot more of it has to be on your own. Utilize third-party resources that are credible. There's so much information available now online that wasn't even available when I was a new agent. Use it. Go check out, consult, talk to your person, to senior agents in your branch. Learn in different ways, and it will all come together to create an experience that will make this worthwhile for you. The last piece of advice that I have for you is to take heed from the counsel of your managers. They have walked this path before you, and some of them are present right now in the room with you as a show of support. But at the same time, I want you to hold them accountable respectfully, and being able to have an open, clear, respectful relationship with your managers, respecting each other's roles and appreciating the fact that each will learn from the other, makes the experience so much more rewarding. In wrapping up, follow the advice of your managers. Be able to trust what it is they are saying, but also challenge them to be a better resource to you. Challenge them respectfully, because each of us still have the opportunity to learn from each other. Engender team spirit and being in it together. And if it is you take some of these pointers, it will certainly add to the value of your experience here. I want to, on behalf of the executive team at head office, I want to wish you a truly wonderful career. I will be particularly interested to see how this cohort of our boot camp progresses over the next few months into the next few years of your career. And if it is you see me, just say hello and introduce yourself. It will be my pleasure to meet you on one day, and do enjoy. In the midst of everything that we have to do, there's a certain measure of fulfillment, joy that comes with being able to help someone make a financial decision that could seriously impact their lives. We have a significant responsibility in contributing to our society. And in a very simple way, if we do what we do, we honor our responsibility as financial advisors, we're going to make our contribution to make Trinidad a better place. Because one day, somebody who you encounter is going to die. Somebody who you sell a critical illness policy to is going to get ill. And it is your check, based on your advice, based on that prospecting call, that will put them in a better position to recover, or would allow their families to have dignity and be able to enjoy a quality of life that the breadwinner would have wanted for them. So take it seriously. Have fun in what you do. I wish you all the best.